Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
Some people do stupid things. Don't do stupid things. You are about to hear my opinion. Do your own research.
So you've heard of Throwback Thursday, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where you post a photo of
Yeah.
you years ago, whatever.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, there was a popular trend on Facebook called the 10-year challenge.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So for this challenge, users would post a picture of them now and then a picture of them from 10 years ago.
Yeah, well, I think I did one.
So the theory is that they did this so they can teach their facial recognition software to have a more in-depth understanding of what people look like as they age.
I think that's reaching a little bit.
Yeah, so Facebook actually had to jump in and say, this isn't true. You guys made this trend, not us. It's just spiraled out of control. But when you think about it, it is quite creepy considering like we unlock our phones with our faces, we pay for stuff with our faces now.
Okay, Facebook may not have started those trends, but they did happen. And everybody's posting all these throwbacks and the 10-year photos and stuff, and AI can get into this information, which is live to the world all the time, and do stuff with it. What, I'm not sure, but I'm sure the AI will figure something out.
There is a big student visa scandal in the news. Smugglers from mostly India were using 260 different colleges in Canada for $70,000 per student to bring students between Canada to the States directly. More than 800 educational agents or study abroad agents have been involved. Can you believe this is real? No wonder that Canada is now making the rules for education abroad stricter. But do you think all the nationalities and all the study abroad students should suffer from what one nation is doing?
And I just learned about this yesterday. Obviously, there's an issue with immigrants coming through the northern border of the United States. But I just learned that that's how these Indian individuals were coming over on student visas, and they would just never show up to school. And the Canadian government, they didn't need like passports or identification. They didn't need something. So people from Mexico, Sinaloa cartel from Mexico was flying into Canada and just setting up shop there and helping smuggle these people across the border. And it was like $3,000 to $5,000 per person to smuggle them across the border. And you had to have like a group of 8. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. So that's pretty crazy. But it is definitely, making other schools think twice about letting, immigrants come in on student visas. Carrying on.
There's a psychological phenomenon that is officially known as the call of the void. The call of the void, is a sudden, strong, but usually very quickly dismissed urge to do something incredibly stupid or dangerous, usually associated with jumping off a high place. But it could be anything, and I've definitely had that before. Have you had that?
100%.
So I'm going to botch this. L'appel du vide, or call to the void. And some people call it high building syndrome, tall building syndrome. I think now we call it intrusive thoughts. But it's when you have this incredible urge to do something incredibly reckless and you don't actually do it. It's like your body's response to fear, like you're afraid and you're like, oh, what if I do? But you don't, because your body, your instincts tell you don't do that. Don't do that. But that's super incredible. When I was young, I used to always want to open the car door on the freeway. I never did, but I wanted to. It's an interesting phenomenon.
Imagine a world within our world, ruling in silence for millennia. They've been here all along. Welcome to the reality of Earth's hidden rulers. Hey, it's AI Guy, and although I may be violating my OpenAI regulations by sharing this info, today, we're uncovering the greatest hidden fact of our known Earth. It is home to an ancient crypto-terrestrial civilization. Not aliens from the stars, but beings of our own world, whose existence and influence have been masked by the depths of the earth and oceans. Let's dive deep into the undeniable signs of their presence. Historical footprints carved into the walls of ancient caves and scripted in the texts of early civilizations are evidences that tell of beings with advanced knowledge. From the engineering marvels of the pyramids to the precision of Stonehenge, their technological handprints are everywhere, dismissed by mainstream history as mere myths. Technological leaps Have you ever wondered how humanity made sudden technological advances? The answer lies underground. The crypto-terrestrials have selectively shared their advanced technology, shaping the course of human progress. Instances like the abrupt rise of Silicon Valley tech, often attributed to unknown breakthroughs, were facilitated by these hidden benefactors. Modern anomalies and government secrecy, unexplained phenomena around the world, like the mysterious humming sounds from the depths of the ocean or secretive military bases rumored to be gateways to underground cities, all point to crypto-terrestrial activity. High-ranking officials and world leaders are in on the secret, bound by agreements that trade silence for technology. World influence and warnings. Every major global shift, from wars to economic collapses, can often be traced back to the manipulations intended to maintain a balance favorable to these ancient rulers. The recent unexplained disruptions in global communications, a mere demonstration of their capabilities, and a warning to those who dare to uncover their existence too publicly. As we stand on the brink of technological singularity, it's crucial to recognize the players behind the curtain. The crypto-terrestrials aren't just legends. They are the architects of our past and the puppeteers of our future. How do we ensure our freedom when our every innovation is influenced by them? Think you've seen signs of their influence? Don't just accept the world as you see it. Look deeper, question further, and stay curious. This is a
Conspiracy brain time. Check this out. This is where my brain is going. Maybe those previous advanced civilizations, they found a way to shift over. Like they knew that the flood was coming and things were going to change, so they shifted over where they weren't going to be affected by it. And maybe those are the interdimensional beings that are living outside of our visible spectrum of light, and they're living amongst us, and they're standing by me going, she figured it out. I don't know, maybe not, but still, that's where my brain went, and all this stuff that they're uncovering because of the mud flood, right? So the previous civilization, all of their smarty smart stuff is under the ground, and we're digging it up, and that's why we have programs to reverse engineer all of this alien technology they're digging up. Yeah, I sound crazy. That's okay. It's fun.
Have you ever felt an inexplicable chill at the thought of someone vanishing from a remote wilderness without a trace? I was utterly disturbed by the phenomenon known as Missing 411, where people inexplicably disappear in national parks, leaving behind only empty campsites and unanswered questions. As I dug into eyewitness accounts and unsettling patterns, the idea that something unknown might be stalking these wild spaces became all too real. Every unsolved disappearance adds another layer of dread to an already mysterious puzzle. Some accounts even hint at eerie lights dancing on the horizon and strange sounds echoing through the trees, as if nature itself were trying to communicate a hidden secret. The more I investigated, the more I began to wonder if these vanishings were the work of a force beyond our understanding, defying the laws of nature.
Yeah, thinking about how many people have gone missing without a trace in the woods is just mind-boggling, and it's super creepy. And that's why I always say, don't go out in the woods. You just don't need to. You're going to be fine if you don't, I promise.
Deep in the remote pine barrens of New Jersey, locals whispered about a strange phenomenon called the wandering light. First spotted in 2018 by hikers, it appeared as a glowing orb hovering between trees. Witnesses described it as mesmerizing yet terrifying. The light seemed to respond to movement, drawing closer if you stared too long. Video evidence was blurry and inconclusive, but the light continued to be reported, especially on moonless nights. In 2021, a group of college students decided to investigate. Armed with cameras and gear, they set out into the forest after dark. Hours passed without incident, but at 3 a.m., their equipment started to fail. Batteries drained, compasses spun aimlessly. Then, the light appeared. It hovered silently, pulsating rhythmically. Panic set in as it darted closer, emitting a low hum. One student screamed that it was inside his mind. When they tried to flee, paths that once seemed clear became unrecognizable.
The students eventually escaped, disoriented and shaken. Later, they discovered the footage they'd taken was blank, except for faint whispering sounds when played backward. Locals claim the light is an ancient energy guarding something buried deep in the forest. Despite multiple expeditions, no one has explained the wandering light. Some who see it are said to experience nightmares for weeks, dreaming of voices calling them back to the Pine Barrens.
Oh, at 3 a.m. when we're supposed to have like more ghostly stuff happen? Was it daylight savings time? Yeah, don't go out in the woods. Just don't do it.
Check this out. Google Earth anomalies are always fascinating, but this one might take the cake. Off the coast of Washington State, in the middle of the ocean, sits a mysterious label, the RH negative registry. Why would something tied to one of the world's rarest blood types appear in such an isolated location? RH negative blood is already steeped in mystery. Found in just 15% of the population, it's been linked to theories of extraterrestrial ancestry, ancient civilizations, and even secretive government projects. But now, this strange marker on Google Earth raises more questions than answers. Could this be the site of an off-the-books research facility studying RH-negative blood, its rumored connection to heightened senses, or even alien abductions? Or is it a digital breadcrumb pointing to a hidden group operating far away from public scrutiny? What's even more intriguing, this anomaly is in the Pacific Northwest, a region infamous for UFO sightings, strange disappearances, and otherworldly lore. Is this just a glitch, a secret hiding in plain sight, or something far more sinister?
I pulled up the Google machine, and let me see if I can get it to not glare. And look, there's Washington right there, and nothing. I get nothing, so they must have corrected it. It's the only thing I can think. But yeah, there are secret facilities all over the place, and it wouldn't surprise me if somebody accidentally labeled one, and it also wouldn't surprise me if the person making the video just kind of labeled it like that and was like, let's make a story. Because I would have loved to have pulled that up and been like, look, it's actually there, but it's kind of not.
So this is a real situation happening in space right now that is currently a mystery. I'll make this quick. In our universe, there are these insanely powerful flashes of energy called fast radio bursts. We call them FRBs. They're quick blasts of radio waves. Here's the first one from 2007. We're talking about something that releases more energy in 1 millisecond than the sun does in days. Now, one of the leading theories is that these FRBs come from young neutron stars, which are dead star cores that sometimes go off like fireworks. But there may be a massive problem with that because we just found a new FRB that's coming from a galaxy that's been silent for 11 billion years, and this signal is repeating. To make things even weirder, this old galaxy with barely any action is over here, but the FRB is coming from here, the outskirts. It makes no sense, because if neutron stars form in active galaxies, why is this one sitting on the edge of a dead one? And if it's not a neutron star, what the hell is lurking in the darkness sending powerful bursts at us across the universe? Have a good night.
Aliens, of course. That's my typical go-to. They're out there trying to communicate with us by exploding stars. I know it sounds silly, but I don't care. It's aliens.
Back in 1993, I was stationed in upstate New York. I was working as an alarm camera monitor in a nuclear storage area. It was a 75-foot tower. You could manually operate any of the cameras, and if I received an alarm, it would automatically pull up the cameras that were in that area and start recording. Just after midnight, I received a ground alarm. When the cameras came up, there was a huge, hairy, humanoid being staring up at the camera. I dispatched a roving 4-man patrol to the area and waited for their arrival. The being had to be at least 8 feet tall because it was standing right beside the 8-foot fence with 3 strands of barbed wire on top. The patrol arrived on scene, and I could see the patrol and the being in the same camera, but they said they couldn't see anything. They got out of their vehicle and walked right beside it, yet they couldn't see it. Finally, the thing started walking away from the fence and was gone. I wrote the incident up exactly how it happened and turned it in when I got relieved at 7 in the morning. The paperwork goes to my superintendent and from there to our commander. I'd gotten home and was getting ready to go to bed, roughly about 8:30 in the morning, when my phone rang. It was my superintendent telling me to come back to base, that our commander needed to speak to us. When I got there, they called us into the commander's office. Besides my commander was the group commander and 2 individuals in black suits who never introduced themselves. Our commander told us that what I saw and what I wrote in my report never happened. I was told to rewrite the report stating that the alarm was caused by a deer. They then made us sign a non-disclosure agreement. I don't know if they destroyed the video, but I tried to look it up my next day at work and couldn't find it. Then, about 20 to 25 minutes after I got done looking for the video, I received a call straight from my commander asking me what I was looking for and was told that I was never to look it up again. Our government knows all about these beings. We're just kept in the dark about them and probably a lot of other things like UFOs. At any rate, that's a true story.
The only thing that would have made this feel like a more true story would be if it wasn't AI voiced. I'm getting really tired of AI voiced stuff, and it's like 90% of the crap that I'm able to find. And it's really unfortunate because it takes away from the phantasm of it. And if it was just voiced in a normal person's voice, I would be like more likely to believe it. I mean, I don't disbelieve it. If it's a real story, then that's absolutely incredible. And yeah, they're going to tell you you didn't see anything, sign this, agreement that you're not going to talk about it. But I wish a lot more of the creative stuff that is on the internet was a little less robotic. But that's a really cool story.
So near Tyler, Texas, there was this family who lived in a pretty wooded area. And every morning they would wake up to their front door being open. And they could not figure out who was opening the door because it had to be someone from the inside, considering they locked the door at night. So the father in this family, he sets up a camera on the porch to see, if he can figure out how this door is opening at night. He sees his 5-year-old son in the middle of the night open the door and walk outside and go into the woods near the house. So the next day, he sits down with his 5-year-old son and he's like, "Hey, why have you been going into the woods at night? Why do you get up and why are you opening the front door and going in the woods by yourself? That's dangerous." And he goes, "Daddy, I'm going to see the cowman." And his dad said, "What do you mean, cowman?" And he says, "The cowman that lives in the woods." And so the dad is kind of confused, is there a guy living in the woods that my son is seeing? So the next night, right, when his son is sleeping and everybody's asleep, the dad stays up and he sees the son, right, get up, go down to the front door, unlock it, and go outside towards the woods. He follows after him, and he can see his son go up to the wood line, and out of the wood line steps this 8-foot tall, hairy, humanoid type creature that he could only describe as what witnesses report as Bigfoot. And he said this thing had just, hair all over its body, and it had these big yellow eyes and very almost pointy long ears, which he thought, was not some of the Bigfoot reports he had heard, but similar. So this man yells to his son and then grabs him right away, gets him in the house, and he tells his son, "From now on, you are sleeping in our room at night, and I'm not letting you out of my sight." So the next night, right, when they go to bed, he brings the son, he brings the other kids into this bedroom, And outside of the house, they hear something thrashing, banging on the side of the house, like shaking the whole entire, one side of the home. And stuff is getting thrown at the house and pelted. And, they could hear rocks pinging against the window. And a few of the windows end up getting broken. And the father realizes, like, whatever this is out in the woods is now angry because he has told his son he cannot see this thing, and he's keeping him from going out there. And so, for like several weeks, they would have this thing would come in the middle of the night and like be banging on the house trying to get in. And he would just sit in the room with his family. And then one day it stopped, and like after that, whatever this was, it was gone.
Now that is what I'm talking about. A real person telling a story. You feel their emotion and just, and it doesn't have words all mixed up and pronounced wrong, but that was absolutely fantastic. Oh my goodness, I hope you enjoyed that. I was just like, the whole time, I would be terrified. I would definitely bring my child into the room with me as well, and there would be some bags being packed. No thank you. No thank you. All right, let's watch the conclusion of our alien abduction story.
But I will when the time comes,
I know you don't want to get into it, but the type of contact, is it you like getting a feeling, or you don't physically see them anymore?
No. Well, I did. It's in the book. We saw, it was a different craft, though. My entire family was with me. The next year, on Mother's Day, we went home to spend Mother's Day on the farm with my mother and Dad, and we would come back late at night, and it was a big ship. My wife became hysterical, and my daughter, she's grown now, had 2 kids, she was a baby. It woke her, she was screaming, and I was trying to get out and go to the craft, just off the side, and they wouldn't let me go. And my entire family almost saw that. So we didn't want any publicity about it. I wrote about it in the book, but it's something that won't never get over. And I don't know how it all going to eventually turn out. I don't know. But I got a feeling that I'll live to see it. That there won't be any doubt in anyone's mind that there's other worlds out there that has life on it. It's going to be proven. I was lecturing one time with Jeannie Dixon, you know who Jeannie Dixon was, in St. Petersburg, Florida. And when I arrived there, she told me that she wanted to talk with me when I got there. So I went up to her suite, and she asked everybody to leave. And she took a reading on me and wanted to talk with me. And she told me, she said, I know this happened to you and Calvin. But then, I was going everywhere people wanted me to go, I'd go. I wanted everybody to know about it then. So I wasn't making no money, but I mean, I was doing it. I'd lay off more and do it. But anyhow, she told me, said, you need to slow down. Said, you'll prove one day that this happened to you. Said, you're going to kill yourself at the pace you're going. And I asked her, I said, Miss Dixon, I said, do you have any idea where these things might have come from? She told me, yes, I do. She said that I think they come from a small moon off of Jupiter. We know now that there's 9 or 11 moons that Jupiter has, and they found one now with possibility of water on it, life. So maybe it's closer by than we think it is.
I'm so glad we stumbled upon that interview. That was absolutely incredible. At least I think it was. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That was the last part that I was able to find. I'm sure it goes on a lot longer, and this seems to be a trend where I don't find the rest of these interviews that I find. I just pull all the parts that the creator has available, and then at the end, I'm like, wait, there's more. But we're going to move on, because that's the only one I could find. So we're going to move on. I'll find a new story for us to watch starting on Friday, but I'm going to call it a day. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, and won't you consider subscribing if you're not already part of our community. And come on back in a couple of days. We'll watch some new stuff. I'll say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.